ICT Summit 2014, and Max Gurvits is already with me. Hi, Max.
Hi there.
Let's talk a little bit about money in startups, because everybody are doing the special apps, the whole ideas that must change the world. But every time when someone speaks about money, every room is totally full because everyone wants to have an investor or somebody who will pay for that.
That's what I see, exactly. It's understandable why people have an interest in it. My opinion is that here in Poland, for instance, there is a lot of money, right? So it shouldn't be. I'm not sure whether people are interested in money as such, because in the last couple of years, because of all of these new funds, because of all of the European Union programs, there are more and more funds available for Polish entrepreneurs. But I think what people want to see is also not just money, but smart money, right? So local money is getting smarter and smarter, but it's always, I guess, exciting for people to meet investors that actually have experience, as entrepreneurs or have invested in successful companies.
And do you see the difference between United States and the whole European zone when it's in terms of money? And is it easier right now to find money for your startup in Europe or still United States?
Well, it's a very complex question, right? So first of all, the world isn't black and white, so it's not only US and Europe. Then Europe is also very different. America is very different. There is a saying that, between Livermore and Hudson River, that's pretty much between the suburbs of New York and San Francisco, it's not really interesting. It's not true. You have more and more ecosystems that are coming up in Denver and Boulder, in Chicago and Austin, places like that. But generally, when we talk about America, we usually talk about Silicon Valley, right? Or maybe New York for some things, although New York is much more later stage generally. You can't compare them. Definitely, I think the problem that has been solved in Europe over the last couple of years, and again, with the help of all kinds of government and EU programs, is that we have eased the access to early stage capital. So if you want to validate a product, you can't complain in Europe. There are accelerators, incubators that give, not incubators, accelerators, seed funds all over the place that actually give money. Now, there are grants, there are equity programs, there is a lot of stuff. Now, when we're talking about the next stage of venture capital, so for validated products, actually money that has experience to take stuff to market. So experienced investors that have brought products to market, that know how to build products, that know how to business develop, that can actually put in money and help the company, acquire the right skills. I think that's still lacking. But to be honest, my opinion is that money always follows, right? If there is something, money will always come. Either the government will chip in or private investors will come after that. So I think the really important part is to get those skills going, to have more companies that actually validate products and want to take them to market, and then the money will come. So Rome didn't get built in a day, so we have to take it day by day, step by step.
So maybe one or two advices for a Polish startupper who is really thinking about looking for an investor. What a startup should have?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So startups should actually figure out what they're doing, right? I think that one of the big lessons learned today, we had a pitching session this morning, and I've talked to all the judges, they're all very good friends of mine, and the one thing that we all see is that people actually do good projects. Products are pretty interesting. This is an improvement, by the way. I know Poland a year or 2 or 3 years ago was completely different. It is getting better. People are still not very good at explaining what they're doing. So it took the jury, for instance, during the pitching session, it took them quite a lot of time to get the essence out of the guys, right? So people should understand better what they're doing, where the real market is, right? It's one thing to validate products. Everyone's still used to the whole, lean startup, minimum viable product, validation, product market fit. Everyone is doing that kind of stuff, and I think people should get out of that way of thinking and get into the next step where we're doing much more. We think much more about, okay, what is the market? Where is this heading? People should do more of this, and I think that once people start doing more of that, once people start actually being less startup-y and more businessy about what they're doing, we'll see more quality come up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Less startup and more business here on ICT Summit 2014.